If you ever watched a video about the best indie games or asked friends about their favorites, I'm pretty sure Outer Wilds is one of those games that manages to get among the top spots pretty consistently across the board. The game was released back in 2019 and pretty much became an instant classic, being nominated for tons of awards and even winning at the British Academy Games Awards in Best Original Property, Game Design and Best Game. So with all of the praise and recommendations the game got, I of course decided to ignore it. Not because I wasn't interested, but because it was one of those games which I definitely needed to play sometime soon. And then proceeded not to play it. For over 2 years. But thanks to Steam and their sales where I have spent way more money on games I never played that I'm willing to admit, I finally picked it up because, yeah, it was cheap. But oh boy, believe me when I say Outer Wilds is worth every penny even at full price, which is still only around 20 bucks. So in this video I'm going to talk about why I think Outer Wilds is one of the best games I've ever played and why you should finally play it if it's still in your backlog. Of course, I try to make the video as spoiler free as I can. There most likely will be some parts that can be a little bit spoilery here and there, but without the context it shouldn't really affect anyone. Most of you will most likely not be familiar with Bartle's taxonomy of players, and if you are, you're most likely either a game developer or very interested in game design. Basically, this guy named Richard Bartle, a British writer, professor and game researcher, wrote a paper in 1996 about how different types of people play video games and categorize them in 4 groups based on how they get the most enjoyment out of the game. And even though the classification originally described players of multiplayer online games like MUDs and MMORPGs, nowadays it also refers to players of single-player games. The type of players according to the paper are socializers, achievers, explorers and killers, and they pretty much are what their name suggests. Socializers like to interact with people or NPCs, achievers strive to complete as much of what the game has to offer as possible, explorers love to explore the world and see what may be around the next corner or on top of this mountain in the distance, and killers find their fulfillment in the thrill of the battle. I personally lean heavily into the explorer trope. For example, back in the days I got the most enjoyment out of World of Warcraft or other games by simply wandering around the huge open worlds and discovering every nook and cranny. And if you're even remotely into exploring, then Outer Wilds is definitely for you. Let's talk about the setting. Players take on the role of a space explorer tasked with uncovering the mysteries of the solar system, which is unfortunately trapped in an endless time loop. Don't worry, this is no spoiler, you'll literally figure this out within the first 20 minutes of the game. The player explores handcrafted planets and uncover the secrets of a mysterious alien society that lived here a long time ago. Their planets are rich with details, beautiful landscapes, hidden caves and ancient ruins. Each planet is unique and offers a different kind of experience. And the best part is that you can come back as many times as you want, as the time loop and the game's non-linear open world allows for players to revisit and discover new things each time, which creates a truly unique experience. The freedom of exploration is one of the game's key features and makes you feel like you're really out there discovering the unknown. As I said in the beginning, I won't spoil anything, but let me just say that I personally found the story of the game really intriguing. It's a mystery that slowly unfolds as the player progresses, with each new discovery adding to the bigger picture. From the ruins of ancient cities to the secrets hidden deep within the planets, the game's story kept me engaged until the very end. Because not only is it so well written, but also very well integrated into the gameplay, making it an integral part of the game. Because without reading the story and puzzling together the clues, you won't get very far in Outer Wilds. There is no voice acting, so there will be a lot of reading involved, but since it makes sense within the game and the universe, it never really was an issue for me. The thing that stood out for me the most in Outer Wilds are the planets. Every planet and celestial body in the game has been crafted with so much care, precision and attention to detail that it creates a truly immersive experience. From the unique flora and fauna of each planet to the intricate ruins and ancient technology, every detail has been thoughtfully designed to create a believable alien civilization. It's clear that a lot of love and passion went into creating those worlds. And by the time the time loop comes to an end, more often than not I forgot there even was one in the first place because I lost myself in exploring. For example, I know I will never not get a tingly feeling in my gut when I get sucked into the black hole on Brittle Hollow. So in my opinion, the devs really did a great job on the planets. Except Giant's Deep, fuck that planet. As someone with a severe case of thalassophobia in video games, being forced to dive into the unknown was utterly terrifying. Short answer, if you haven't already, then yes, absolutely. But since this answer was kind of expected, let's mix things up and go over a few points on what's not so great about the game. Earlier in the video I talked about how Outer Wilds is about exploring, freedom and doing whatever you want. But that actually may be a double-edged sword. You see, the game offers very little guidance, which can make it difficult for some players to know where to go next. And while there is a log on the ship with notes to places you've been to, there can be times where the player just doesn't know what to do next. Then there's the time loop itself. This mechanic means that the player will experience death frequently. And some may find this frustrating, especially if they have made significant progress on a planet, but then have to restart again before finding everything out. And while the game's open world exploration is extremely engaging, some players may find that the gameplay becomes repetitive after a while, since that's the primary gameplay loop and there aren't any battles or such. These cons, however, are very minor and shouldn't take away from the overall experience of the game. Outer Wilds is a great game with unique and engaging gameplay, a well-written story and beautiful visuals. It's a game that's well worth experiencing. But aside from all the stuff I just talked about, what really gives Outer Wild a special place in my heart is just that oftentimes I felt so emotional while exploring those planets all by myself. And that's to huge parts thanks to the brilliant soundtrack. Being all alone on a lifeless rock in the middle of the solar system and hearing the soothing soundtrack of Outer Wilds just makes you remember how insignificant we all are and that in the end everything will cease to exist no matter what. Just like this universe comes to an end every 22 minutes. And besides, there is little as chill as drifting through the vastness of space in your little rocket while listening to this music playing in the background. And that's it for the video. Thank you so much for watching and sticking to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking it and subscribe for more stuff about video games in the future. See you in the next one. Bye.